Why Hamza Deserves His Downfall. Video by Internet Anarchist. All right, man. Yes, Hamza was on a crazy run a few years ago, man. He was the face of the red pill, guru, self-help side of the internet. He became, I would say, the biggest personality in that space. But since then, things have taken quite a turn. Shit is going downhill. And if you understand true metaphysics, true spirituality, frequency, energy, and how that actually manifests in your life, then you would have been able to see this coming. So let's go ahead and check this out.
Hamza was undeniably one of the most influential figures in the YouTube self-help community, so much so that he managed to manipulate his core audience into seeing him as a cult leader to be emulated without question. Unfortunately, Hamza would take advantage of this dynamic for selfish gain, and as a result, lose not just his credibility, but over 90% of his viewers in just 8 months.
Wow.
This isn't a good
90% fall off in 8 months is crazy, man.
This isn't a good look, Hamza. Oh, Hamza. Watch out, Hamza. Anime's okay. Moderation is key. Go.
The second you start seeing a nigga constantly talking about his haters or addressing his haters, you know that the end is near.
Moderation is key.
Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be going over the unsettling downfall of one of YouTube's biggest self-improvement creators, Hamza Ahmed. How fame, status, and success fueled Hamza's growing ego, and what this means for the followers who see his words as law and treat him like a deity. Back in 2022, I uploaded a video covering Hamza's rise to the top of the YouTube algorithm. In a nutshell, Hamza built his brand by showcasing the intimate aspects of his self-improvement journey and offering young men guidance on how they could better themselves too. With valuable videos on topics like fitness, relationships, and making money, Hamza rapidly carved out a dedicated fan base that looked forward to every upload.
You see, when you build your fan base on trying to promote the image that you are this godlike being, this person that everybody can look to in terms for consistency and stability and guidance, well, then when they start to see the cracks in the armor, when they start to see you falling apart, crying on the internet, complaining, talking about your haters, worrying about what other people think, well, then you are going to lose all of the aura, all of this this appearance of being this confident, self-assured leader. And that's exactly what happened to Hamza. All of his followers now see him as, well, a lot of the people who've left, they see him as a cringe lame who was just desperate for validation all along.
Straightforward, the complexity lies in Hamza's ability to be honest and transparent with his viewers, no matter the topic.
Is your future self thinking, I wish you just stopped watching all of these self-improvement videos and actually took action to better your life?
Hamza would gradually transform his close connection with viewers into a cult-like kinship dedicated to pushing its members to fulfill their potential. As you would imagine, Hamza proudly assumed leadership of said cult.
That's how cults work. That is precisely how cults work, that you have this leader, the leader's word cannot be questioned, all of the followers that get co-opted in, they all just believe because you're supposed to believe.
Have you seen my Instagram bio?
No, what's it say?
I've just changed as a cult leader.
The cult's mission would be...
Yeah, wanting to be a cult leader, wanting to be associated with being a cult leader is actually a confession of a true sense of insecurity and seeking validation from others. You want or need to be worshipped by other people. That means your sense of self-worth is determined by the opinions of others. So the second that starts to shift, which the universe will always shit test you, bro. The universe will always shit test you, just like a baddie. You feel me? And so whenever you see the universe starting to shift and you see people starting to change their opinions about you, well, now that is going to influence the way you see yourself. It becomes a negative feedback loop, and eventually you just become completely destroyed.
Based on members trying to emulate the fictional figure Hamza created, called Adonis.
This cult of young men that you see before you is all about taking responsibility. We strive to become more like Adonis. He's successful, but he's humble. He's strong.
Yeah. People who don't want other people to worship them and follow them and, you know, see their every move and all that, these are actually the most self-secure people.
But he acknowledges his weaknesses. There are 5 virtues of Adonis: discipline, humility, presence, gratitude, and leadership.
Keep these 5 values of Adonis in mind, as they'll become very important later. For now, Hamza would contrast the shining image of Adonis with a lesser figure dubbed Jeffrey, the embodiment of everything Hamza believed a man shouldn't be.
Jeffrey's the average guy. He's overweight, lazy, and undisciplined. He got average grades in school, he works an average job that he doesn't like, he doesn't attract the kind of women that he wants. He lives a mediocre life. Jeffrey hears about self-improvement, about exercising and building a body that he could be proud of. He hears about meditation, gratitude journaling, reading and learning, and Jeffrey refuses to do any of it. He spends his days playing video games, jacking off to messed up.
Here's the first critical flaw of Hamza's philosophy. He teaches that in order to go from being Jeffrey to being Adonis, there are a series of things you must do. However, Adonises are not created, they are born. What do I mean? They are born in the mind. I'm not saying that at birth it is determined whether you are going to be this confident, self-empowered person or this insecure, weak-minded individual. It is a choice. Nothing needs to happen externally for you to go from being Jeffrey to being Adonis. In fact, what you will ultimately end up having, which is what I think happened to Hamza, is that you continue to be Jeffrey wearing a costume of Adonis. So you build a body, you have the journaling exercise, you're doing all of the shit that a guy like Hamza will tell you you need to do, but internally you still see yourself as Jeffrey. That's Myron Gaines, for instance. All the money, that's why they say money can't unlame you. Neither can getting a six-pack, neither can dressing better, neither can doing your hair, because ultimately you still see yourself as Jeffrey.
What a disgrace.
This dynamic would become the premise behind many of Hamza's subsequent videos, as he compared how Jeffrey and Adonis responded to different social situations. To keep the messages as personal as possible, Hamza would include stories about his past mistakes and achievements, which showed he was still improving like everyone else. While the Jeffrey vs Adonis dynamic was a good way for Hamza to highlight traits viewers should aspire to, it would also prove to be overly simplistic and lacked nuanced explanation of what it takes to truly become a successful individual. However, this wouldn't stop Hamza's movement from rapidly spreading across the internet. From late 2022 to early 2023, Hamza would triple the sub count on his main channel, growing from 500k to over 1.5 million. Hamza's open and honest approach to self-improvement content allowed him to build a massive community eager to follow his prescribed roadmap to success. Sadly, no one could have anticipated how much Hamza would change after becoming somewhat of a successful figure, as he began to reveal a dark side of himself no one had seen before. On the 16th of September 2022, Hamza published a stream highlight to his second channel titled Hamza Explodes on Anime Profile Pictures.
Stupid.
And as the title suggests, the video was meant to ridicule individuals he felt were negatively impacting his audience.
Stop trying to negatively affect me. Stop trying to negatively affect my boys here. If you play video games, if you watch anime, keep your mouth shut.
Nigga, I just fucking finished Solo Leveling, the second season of Solo Leveling, bro. That shit is gas, nigga. Oh my God, if you want to understand metaphysics, well, truly you got to understand metaphysics before you'll be able to see it in Solo Leveling. But Solo Leveling is actually a really good visualization or metaphor or analogy for how this whole energy frequency shit I be talking about, of how it works, bro. How you go from, how Jin Woo went from being an E rank to an S rank, bro. That is literally like the reawakening. That is literally what happens when you understand metaphysics and spirituality, bro, and how you level up, you know what I'm saying? But it's amazing. This guy, he don't know what the fuck he talking about. Here is Hamza confessing that he believes that your internal evolution and elevation is contingent on external things, like what kinds of shows you watch. That's ultimately, that's so fucking stupid and wrong, and that's why he's where he's at.
In here and like anime's fine, a video just 1 hour video. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. Oh, you play it, okay, fine. You play it, fine. Don't come in here and try and change my mind. Don't come in here and try and tell my boys to stop playing video games.
Hamza's rant would become even more heated as he commented on videos that were critical of his stance on self-improvement and claimed the videos were coming from the same people who promoted anime and video games in chat.
Anything you talk about is a confession that it is affecting you on some level. The more you talk about it, the more affected you clearly are by it. And so he's saying, don't try to affect me. Well, he's already confessed that it is affecting him.
These people, they've made videos about me over the last year, countless, relentless, critical videos about me, saying that Hamza's being too harsh, but 1 hour of video games is fine. I watch them and I'm just thinking, how they're saying that I'm a bad person because I'm too strict on self-improvement. How am I a bad person from expecting better from my young boys? I see their critical videos about me all the time. You can go and search like Hamza's wrong on YouTube. These amounts of motherfuckers who have made videos saying, oh, well, Hamza doesn't even know what.
Why would you ever care what anybody else says about you? They cannot know you better than you know yourself. Watching any videos about someone trying to explain to you who you are is absolutely fucking stupid, because you are now saying that somebody who has never met you, who has never spent even 10 minutes with you, now knows you better than yourself. That's insane. That is insane.
So he's just a young guy. 1 hour of video games isn't going to hurt you.
Although consuming most forms of entertainment in moderation wouldn't derail someone's self-improvement journey, Hamza was determined to make his viewers think that any attempt at relaxation would put them behind in life.
You already understand life works like a race of men. Any of these pussies who tell you that they're not competing against the rest of us is fucking lying. You're in competition with me. If you slow down to play 1 hour of video games, I'll fuck your future wife, bro. If you watch anime, guess what I'll do to you? You're gonna let me run past you in this race, bro? Are you honestly gonna, if you're on self-improvement, you should be thinking, bro.
iShowSpeed could fucking buy this whole guy's life,
Fuck
bro.
Hamza.
His whole net worth is literally like not even 5% of iShowSpeed's income, bro. You feel me? You think iShowSpeed is doing any of this cringe fucking bullshit that he's talking about? No. This is bullshit, bro. It's all fake. It's all nonsense. You can look all over the world and find people who are far infinitely more successful than Hamza that don't do none of this shit, don't think about any of this shit, and indulge in cigarettes and drink alcohol and watch porn and fuck hookers and, you know what I'm saying, eat like garbage and watch anime and play video games. I'm not telling you to do any of those things. Do whatever the fuck you want. The point is, those aren't the things. Those are obviously not the determining factors for your ability to be successful. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not.
I'm gonna make sure that motherfucker's not running faster than me. Good. Me and you will be worthy competitors.
One could argue that Hamza's words were coming from a place of tough love, but if that was the case, then why did he convey it in such a condescending fashion? What was the logic of putting himself on a pedestal because he didn't consume a particular form of entertainment? Although the overall response to these comments was positive, some viewers recognized Hamza's faulty reasoning with comments that read, "Can't be only me who thinks that Hamza is now seeing everything as black and white," as well as, "Nah, I'm starting to think this isn't self-improvement anymore. This is more like become like Hamza." Live streams wouldn't be the only place Hamza expressed some unconventional views of what it meant to be masculine.
Bro, y'all have seen me go from fucking less than 20,000 subscribers, well, really zero. This channel started 9-10 months ago. We're now at 125,000 subs in like 10 months, bro. I have more than 10x my income on this channel. And bro, I don't do none of this fucking shit, bro. Yeah, I exercise. Yeah, I meditate occasionally. Yeah, but I don't have any like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I don't do that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't take ice baths. I don't journal. I don't fucking have no special diet. I eat whatever the fuck I want whenever I want, because the most important thing, bro, is aligning yourself energetically with your desired reality. All you got to do is sit down in a quiet place and ask yourself, what would I do? How would I move if I was already where I want to be in life? Simple. That's it. That's all you got to do, bro. And then you will realize a lot of these things that people fixate on, like diet and exercise routine and journaling, those things are really irrelevant to that thing. What do I mean? Okay, someone might come to you. Let's say you're one of these red pill fucking shitheads, right? Like Hamza here. And someone's like, oh, I want to be more successful. He might tell you, oh, well, are you going to the gym? Now, going to the gym, exercising is great for you, and it can help you to become more successful because of the benefits it has for your mind, right? The neurochemicals that get released when you exercise, that makes you feel better. You feel better, you can perform better. Same thing with lifting heavy weights. It increases your testosterone production. Testosterone is a hormone that helps with drive and ambition. So yes, sure. But can you find any overweight millionaires? Can you find any millionaires who don't really exercise? Yeah. Shit, fuck testosterone, nigga. You can find women who are millionaires. Women who, even if they're working out as, hard, lifting heavy weights, peak athlete, they still produce less testosterone than a soy boy who just jerks off all day and watches anime and eats fucking hot Cheetos. Just because she's a woman and he's a man. You feel me? And so to think that this is necessary, this one thing that you're fixated, it don't matter, bro. It ultimately isn't the determining factor of your success.
He'd make similar comments during his short form uploads.
This is gonna sound weird. You'll need to be hit in the face. As a young man, you need to be hit in the face consistently. Trust me when I say that greatly improves your character. When you are under some kind of threat of violence, you become present, you become focused. All of those bullshit thoughts in your mind, those insecure thoughts, disappear. Suddenly it's just you in the real world versus
I agree, regular sparring is great for your sense of confidence as a man, and it is good to fight on a regular basis in order to just feel like you can defend yourself. But just make sure, if you are going to spar, find a gym where the approach to sparring is like you're playing around. You should be going between like 20 to 50% in terms of hitting each other. You should not be like really hurting each other, bro. You shouldn't be hitting each other hard. And if you're hitting to the head, make sure you tell that nigga, bro, dude, like tap me, like tap me, don't hit my shit, because ultimately, right, you're working on the fundamentals, you're working on the technique, you're working on the skill. When you actually get in a fight, your adrenaline is going to kick in. You're already going to be going 10 times faster, punching 10 times harder without even thinking about it. And so at that point, now all of the skill and mechanics that you have been working on, that shit will integrate with the strength and speed that naturally is going to come with you feeling like you're in a life or death situation. And so when you're in the gym, bro, when you are sparring, make sure that them niggas is not hitting you hard, bro. Especially in the head. If you want to take some heavy shots to the body just to know what that feels like, that's cool. But make sure they're not hitting you hard in the head, bro.
For the mat, and your objective is to...
By the 19th of September 2022, Hamza would acknowledge the impact live streaming was having on his channel and ask his viewers for advice on what direction to take the channel.
Live streaming has been like the most intrinsically motivating part of my work that I've ever had before. I am a little bit fearful that it's kind of tainting my character and my brand image of being more like Adonis and peaceful, because naturally in this state of this hyperactive chat and you get into emotional rants and everything, which perform better on live streams.
The best answer to Hamza's question...
Yeah, that's the thing with live streams. They expose you, bro. They expose people for who they really are. You know what I'm saying? When all your videos are edited, you get an opportunity to cut your shit up. You know what I mean? But on a live stream, when somebody comes into live and they're talking shit, they get to see how easily affected you really are by the opinions of others.
Would come in the form of a comment that read, Hamza, the criticism is due to you doing the opposite of what Hamza a year ago would have done. The sudden switch in content is strange for your viewers. You are a completely different person now. Just don't forget how you started, bro. Build your brand, do your thing. Just don't expect to retain your original audience because you told them to get off YouTube and not watch low return on investment live streams like this one. Despite the obvious drawbacks to ranting on stream, Hamza continued to feed into his egotistical side while masking it as self-improvement advice.
So I just went on a little rant then talking about, porn being bad for us and stuff. And this anime profile picture motherfucker just came into the chat and said, "Forgive us for having fun, Hamza." Just went on a little rant that porn and masturbation is bad for you. And this anime profile...
Bro, there's nothing wrong with porn, bro. And there's nothing wrong with masturbation. This is just religious, fundamentalist religious bullshit, bro. There's nothing wrong with it. Literally, on a physiological level, it affects you no differently than sex. The difference is the average dude doesn't have the ability to be endlessly fucking different women on a daily basis. If you could, like King Solomon in the Bible, be fucking, you know what I'm saying, 10 different women every single day, that shit would absolutely drain you, bro. No pun intended. You would be absolutely drained. And so that's what happens when dudes are addicted to porn. But the long-term effect it has on testosterone production, the long-term effect it has on your drive is like pretty much non-existent. Now, of course, there are a lot of dudes who feel guilty when they watch porn because you got either dudes like Hamza demonizing it, or you got fucking, you know, Christians and shit like that, religious people that are telling you that you're going to hell or whatever. And so they believe that shit, and so they're overwhelmed with a sense of guilt. But there is nothing wrong with it, bro. If you are a single dude and it's been a few weeks and you backed up and you just want to rub one out, bro, do not let these niggas make you feel like you're doing something bad or you're doing something weird, bro.
Motherfucker just came in and said, "Forgive us for having fun, Hamza."
Hamza had gone beyond providing well-meaning advice and was now shaming anyone who made lifestyle choices he didn't agree with. Naturally, Hamza's viewers...
Any nigga out here that want to tell you, oh yeah, well, watching porn is holding you back, bro, there's a millionaire right now who just rubbed one out, bro. I'm telling you, there's a billionaire who just rubbed one out. Like, while you saying that shit, while you was typing that comment, another dude just made like $100,000 and he just rubbed one out last night. It's a midget porn, bro. The point I'm making is like you're building all of these like rules in your life and you're just making them up. These are rules that you are imposing upon yourself and believing. And that's a crazy thing, because what you believe determines your experience of reality. That shit does become real for you. And so what will happen is you end up believing this shit, and then one day you fold, right? You break your 3-month no-fap streak, and then because you have put so much belief and energy into this idea, then your life starts to fall apart because you jerked off one time in 3 months. Meanwhile, dude across the street, you know what I'm saying, he jerking off, he fucking bitches, he not even thinking about this shit, he just going with the flow, and he outpacing you in life.
Pointed out his shift in behavior and likened his stream to be something Sneeko would make, with comments reading, "I love watching you, Sneeko. Thanks for another entertaining live
that's
stream."
crazy.
As well as, "I had subbed to watch actual useful content and to maybe get some insight, not to watch mindless rants in a car. Since Hamza has started live streaming, I feel like the quality on the channel has taken a massive hit." Berating viewers for straying from a set path was only one of the things that made Hamza lose his cool on stream. The other one was when anyone questioned his masculinity.
Speaking about how masculine you are makes her drier than the Sahara Desert. Aravind Nair.
He's back at it again.
Yeah, I think you should date her, bro. You seem like the champion who knows about girls better than I do, bro.
Hamza would take things a step further by starting a very heated exchange with a random viewer and asking for—
Think about it. Is someone who is in great shape, does someone who is in great shape need to constantly talk about them being in great shape? No, because it's obvious. Their face is lean, their body is toned and muscular, and if they have an opportunity to do anything athletic, it becomes clearly plain for everybody to see that this person is a fit person. So why is it that dudes who are like, you know what I'm saying, preaching this shit constantly need to remind everybody that they're so masculine by saying it? Why isn't it just obvious by the way that you move and carry yourself?
his Discord username.
Aravind, what's your Discord, mate? Let's get you on a Discord call, bro. Let's see you flirt with her. Yeah, Aravind, what's your name? Aravind Nair. So this guy keeps leaving fucking hateful comments in this stream so far, calling me cringe, saying that I'm drying her up and stuff. Okay, Aravind Nair, drop your Discord. We'll hop onto a Discord call with you right now and we'll see your flirting game.
For the next several minutes, Hamza would repeatedly ask for the viewer's Discord name while taking every opportunity to make fun of him.
Your Discord, Aravind, come on. Boys, if Aravind doesn't come onto the call with me, I'm just gonna end the live stream, man. He's made me sad. We need him. Everyone spam him and make sure he comes onto a video call with us. Aravind, come on, man. We want to hear about how you flirt because clearly you're better than me.
Hamza's facade of confidence was slowly giving way to insecurity.
You're allowing an anonymous nobody to control you. That's insane. That's insane to me.
deemed he was too far gone to notice, which escalated things even further.
Hugo Orton donated $2.
Do you think God cares about the opinions of people? Do you think God cares about that shit? Everybody should try to be more like God.
Do it, bro. I'll spar you as well. Showing off your girl.
Does God care if you think he's a good person? That nigga flood the whole world, killing children and all of that. Women. Do you think he give a fuck what you think about him? He don't.
Is so insecure.
And also, does God forgive people who don't ask for forgiveness? That's a little, call back to the Jay Cinco situation, him forgiving DDG even though DDG didn't apologize. We all should be more like God. No, God sends people to hell if they don't ask for forgiveness and they repent. You are not being like Jesus. You are not being like God when you forgive someone who is not first repentant. Why? How you gonna set the bar to be more forgiving than God himself, nigga? That's insane to me. Unless nobody's going to hell and we all getting forgiven, right? Nah.
Self-improvement is masturbation. All you do is tell others to fix their lives while you're a kid yourself. Me and you should have a discussion, bro, Aravind. Discord call right now, bro. It'll be entertaining.
For the rest of the video, Hamza bounced between trying to justify his actions by claiming he was only making jokes out of hate comments.
Of course.
You can tell what kind of man someone is by their response. So this Aravind guy, I don't know if he's still in the chat or not, but he was just sat here whilst we were just, speaking about self-improvement. He's just leaving.
God never explains himself. When Job was crying out, "Oh God, why did you do this to me? You allowed my children to die. I've been struck with plagues. My wife, she's being crazy. She telling me to curse you. She done left. I've lost everything, God. I've been nothing but devout and obedient to you. Why did you do this?" God pulled up on some tough shit, bro. It's like, nigga, what the fuck you just say to me? What you just asked me, nigga? Do you know who I am, nigga? I does what I do because I did it. End of story.
And everything. Saying, hop onto the Discord call.
That's all you ever need to tell anybody, bro.
Now we can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
That was just a random button on my I couldn't abort mission, nigga. I wasn't trying to press that, but hey. Point is, bro, you don't gotta explain yourself. God don't explain himself. Everybody should be more like God.
And just make fun of him, and he'll come in and he'll start stuttering, and he'll just be weird and he'll apologize or something. But you can truly tell what kind of person like a man is, what kind of comments they leave.
And deflecting any criticism thrown his way by demanding a fight.
Aravind Nair, I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I make money actually helping others, not just spouting the same bullshit to a fatherless audience.
Ooh.
Aravind, you're pissing off a lot of people here, Aravind. I think there's like 20 people that would want to fight you.
Even though Hamza couldn't see the mistakes he was making, a significant portion of his audience did, and they were very disappointed, with comments reading, "Hamza's life has taken a left turn. It's sad to see. Hope him the best and hope he recovers from being a Jeffrey." Real title, Hamza being a Jeffrey versus Jeffrey.
Yeah, Hamza was always a Jeffrey, bro. Hamza was always a Jeffrey, and he's still a Jeffrey today.
As well as, this video will be a reminder not to let my ego take a hold of me. Eventually, Hamza would put an end to the rage-filled live streams and return to his usual Jeffrey vs Adonis and unfiltered content, which was a welcomed change. However, by the 1st of February 2023, Hamza would make yet another radical shift in his career, with a video titled, "I Fulfilled My Purpose."
I've been on this journey for over 2 years, dedicating myself fully to this. Every single day I've woke up and thought about spreading this message of self-improvement. This has been my purpose for over 2 years. And a little while ago, I completed this layer of my purpose and I'm on to the next layer.
Hamza went on to announce that he'd no longer be putting out frequent uploads and stated that he'd be dissolving his production team as a result.
I've made the hard decision now, after weighing this up so many times, after speaking to my close friend who helps me make these decisions, Sam. I've made the hard decision now to stop this content production machine that we had here, this huge team that we had of 7 video editors and TikTok guys and sales guys and Twitter guys, and I let every single one go, including Sam Harbonator, my best friend who's worked for me for over 2 years.
According to Hamza, the drastic change to the channel was a byproduct of outgrowing the influencer lifestyle and in pursuit of his personal development.
My new layer of my purpose for me to focus on is my own development as a man. I no longer care about being a YouTuber or an influencer or a celebrity or a man with fame or anything like this.
Surprisingly, Hamza would set his sights on a far more arduous path of becoming a fighter.
And the angle that it's currently fixated on, my mind, my heart, and my soul, is fighting, competition, martial arts. That's what I'm throwing myself into fully.
While becoming a fighter was Hamza's new direction in life, he still maintained the need to share helpful advice and personal experiences with his audience.
What I do still have some positive feeling about is the beauty of passing knowledge to each other. I no longer want to see this as a YouTube channel that I'm trying to grow. I want to see this as me genuinely just sitting down, turning the camera on when I have some actually like really valuable knowledge to give to you, some really valuable.
From the outside looking in, it seemed Hamza had gotten over his egotistical side and was trying to realign his life with a higher purpose. This was the type of change viewers were looking for, as the comment section was flooded with positive messages encouraging Hamza on his latest endeavor, reading, "We must move on and share the knowledge of self-improvement to other young men. Thank you, Hamza." As well as, "Damn dude, you left a hell of a legacy. You are a legend among men. And I know you're going to succeed in your next purpose. Godspeed, brother." And another comment foreshadowing what was going to happen. The next few guides were some of the best Hamza stuff ever, and it was downhill from there. By the following week, Hamza kept to his promise and uploaded an hour-long guide on how his viewers could find purpose in their life. Even though the value derived from the video was subjective, it was a step in the right direction and showed Hamza was committed to improving himself.
Today, we're going to cover how purpose works as a masculine man, and my intention with this, my hope is that by the end of this video, you will be convinced that this is the only way to live.
All Hamza had to do to maintain his legacy was keep his ego in check, deliver high-quality content whenever he uploaded, and follow through on becoming a fighter. Tragically, Hamza would fall short on almost all these expectations, and seemingly betray every core value he's set up so far. Around a month after Hamza announced his decision to drop content creation and become a fighter, he seemingly returned to a frequent upload schedule. While the videos had tuned down editing and were fairly long, you wouldn't expect Hamza to start uploading again after claiming he was no longer interested in being a YouTuber.
Yeah, which reveals what actually happened. Bro just wanted to stop paying his people. He wanted to fire them. Maybe the money was not coming in as strong. And so he wanted to fire them, take over the channel, do all the work himself, and keep all the money generated. He didn't want to have to keep paying all these people. And so, and this is my analysis. Allegedly, this is what I'm saying happened. I'm not saying this is definitively what happened, right? Because, you know, niggas like this, they get real butt hurt and they want to sue niggas and shit like that. This is what I think happened. I think that he just didn't want to pay these niggas no more. And so he came up with this bullshit reason, trying to be noble, trying to be, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I just want to pursue all of this, and then fucking turn around and start uploading frequently again. Right? Again, so he cares so much about what other people think that he couldn't just be a man and just say, "Hey, yo, you're fired. I want to go with a different approach to this content creation shit where it's not so expensive."
Stranger still, Hamza doubled down on the business side of his platform with the launch of Adonis Academy, a monthly membership that offered direct coaching from Hamza on how young men could take action in self-improvement.
That's why I've started, and it's something that I'm like selling, so it's like, you know, if you don't want to spend money, you can click away, absolutely no problem. My videos are still free, the Discord server is still there and everything.
The major selling point for Hamza's new community was 3 weekly calls that allowed members to ask for advice on topics like health, wealth, and relationships.
3 calls a week, which will be split up into the areas of health, wealth, relationships. So on Monday we'll have a call, Wednesday we'll have a call, Friday we'll have a call, health, wealth, relationships on each one.
Although Hamza had offered paid products before, the difference this time was that instead of selling pre-recorded content, Hamza was taking his time directly to teach and mentor members.
What I'm going to tell you right now is this is like a work in project. This is not something that I'm just going to kind of set up and, you know, I can't leave. Like, this is literally based on me just being your teacher. Right now I'm like a guy who makes YouTube videos. I want to be more more of like a teacher where we actually have like more of like a communication together.
To sweeten the deal, Hamza would also include other perks, like access to his previous $400 courses, exclusive meetups in the UK, and dedicated video lessons, all for $99 a month.
It will be $99 a month, which is a recurring membership. So every month it'll be $99. This is usually where like the salesmen and stuff, they'll try and justify the price and they'll tell you like, oh yeah, but it is worth it because of this. But no. Like literally, it's $99 a month. It's a recurring membership. The top link in the description, you can go check out. Go click that right now. I'm not going to try and like justify it to you.
Even though a majority of fans were thrilled to be a part of Hamza's new direction for the channel, there were also those who were still curious about what happened to his fight.
Even that, like whenever you see somebody say, oh, don't get in the comments and da-da-da, or I already know niggas in the comments gonna be saying this, that, and the third, they're actually confessing that on some level, right? That shit gets to them. That shit, you know what I'm saying? They care about that shit, you know, and I've been there, I've done that. But if you don't want to justify something, just don't justify it. Don't say, I'm not going to justify it. Because even in saying that you're confessing that you care about the fact that there are going to be some people who think that it's unjustifiable, right? That it's too expensive, the price that you're offering. All these are little things I'm just trying to show you so you can start paying attention to that, so that you can start to see through these niggas, bro, and see through the false appearance or facade of confidence and self-assurance and self-empowerment.
Career. By the 1st of June 2023, Hamza would publish a video explaining why becoming a fighter was no longer his purpose, and the reason he was more focused on making more money.
So a few months ago, I posted a video saying that I had fulfilled my purpose and that I was going to go into the mountains to go train martial arts. And I still receive comments of why I didn't do that. Oh, Hamza, I thought you were going to become a fighter. Now, I explained in a video already, but I put it in like, you know, it was like 2 hours into the video, so a lot of people didn't see it. So I just wanted to explain it here because I still see comments about it.
Hamza would go on to state that after the first day at the fight camp, he felt the experience, quote, didn't feel authentic.
And I just asked myself a question, is this authentic? Is this genuinely where I want to be, what I want to focus on? Or, just be honest, are you here right now because it'll get you validation from people online?
It's worth remembering that no one asked Hamza to become a fighter. In fact, he chose that path because he assumed it would be a masculine thing to do. And at the time, he didn't sound like he was trying to impress anyone. After all, he fired his entire team and told viewers he was no longer interested in vanity metrics like subscribers or ad revenue. Hamza had always been the type of creator that spoke about things with conviction and a black and white mentality. But after going against his own standards, he decides it's time to move the goalpost.
But I realized that you can't live a life of inauthenticity. If there's something that you genuinely feel as a man that you should be doing, which is right for you, and you don't do that because something else might get you more validation from the people around you, you live this shallow life based on these internet comments.
In an effort to justify this decision, Hamza claimed his true fans would gladly jump at the product he was selling, and that any critique for said product was coming from Jeffries.
A bunch of your real true fans who are looking and thinking, wait, he's just released something which I could buy and I could probably get closer to him or I could learn more from him. That's awesome. And these are your like proper true fans, and so they'll buy anything, or they'll look at it and be like, oh man, I can't afford it, but that is awesome. I wish I could afford it. But there's like a 0.1 thing, like the lone like little corner of Jeffries where they just get agitated when you're making money.
For the rest of the video, Hamza,
again, he just cares so much, bro. He cares so much. Why talk about these people if these people are so insignificant as you make them out to be? Why are you always constantly addressing them, talking about them?
would present his move to teach selling courses as the best way to help his male audience. However, was Hamza truly equipped to lecture people on how to be business owners, or was he simply going to sell viewers on a dream and tell them to copy his formula of selling self-improvement courses?
The idea is like, you learn how to make a community which you get paid for. You bring people who have got similar interests together, because I genuinely think, by the way, I'll just give you a random tip. I genuinely think that there's one business model which is the best right now, like possible, and it's private communities.
At the end of the day, Hamza was free to take his channel in any direction he saw fit.
Right.
However, this change in mentality would mark the beginning of a very turbulent time in Hamza's community, as the focus shifted away from what was best for men more towards what Hamza thought was best. By October 2023, Hamza would announce a new chapter in his life of starting a family.
The rural mountains of Scotland.
Listen, there is no fulfillment in anything external, and you're actually witnessing Hamza go through the cycle, and maybe it will click eventually. First, he was like, okay, maybe fulfillment is in pulling bitches, right? Pulling bitches. That's where a lot of young men start. Maybe fulfillment is in pulling bitches. And then, of course, he put the math together. Oh, well, in order to pull chicks, I got to get the body. I got to get some money, even a little bit of clout. He got that, got the hose, still feels like a Jeffrey on the inside. Then he was like, oh, okay, well, maybe really what I need to do is have that sense of confidence that I could defend myself with my hands. I need to engage in combat with other men and prove to myself that I am a real man and that I can overcome another man physically. And so he went into that and probably saw some success there, but still feels like a Jeffrey. And so now he's like, okay, no, starting a family. That right there is the true fulfillment. I will get truly fulfilled from having children and a wife. And you know what's going to happen? He's going to have the children and the wife not have the sense of fulfillment. And then he's going to look at his children and his wife like a fucking burden, unnecessary baggage that he picked up because he thought that it would give him some sense of fulfillment in life, only to realize that all he has now is a fucking screaming monster. Screaming little demons, because that's what fucking children are. They're amazing. I love them. They're cute. They make my heart melt, but they're also fucking just little monsters. And then he's gonna have his wife, and now can't be fucking other chicks anymore. And for a guy like Hamza, he's gonna have that realization, and then it's just gonna be like regret, bro. You need to understand that all fulfillment comes from within. It comes from within, bro. The external doesn't matter. The flesh profits nothing.
My woman. And soon we're going to buy a home and we're going to have children. I'm going to move up my family here. I'm going to move up like families that I love. And I'm going to create this dream into a reality. But basically, I'm starting the fatherhood chapter of my life.
Hamza was so convicted that this was the right decision to take things that he would change his channel description to reflect it, with the description reading, preparing to be a father.
Right.
Unfortunately, similar to his previous life-altering plans, Hamza wouldn't follow through with it and decided to go for the easier option. In a now-deleted video, Hamza would describe how a date with a Russian woman changed his perspective on Western women.
I'm sat here with this genuinely like beautiful, but also very, very intelligent-based, sophisticated, classy young woman. Like, very impressive. That's what I'll say. It's very, very impressive.
All right.
Naturally, Hamza's viewers wondered why he was going on another path when he just announced the fatherhood chapter of his life, and it wouldn't be long before they got an answer.
The reason why me and my ex split up is because we did this little exercise together where I told her to sit
I'm
down.
happy for him. I am glad that he didn't go through with this, because he would have just dragged other people unnecessarily into his own internal darkness and sense of unfulfillment.
And to write down like her goals and the season of life that she wanted to get into.
Because once he realizes that shit wasn't going to give him that sense of fulfillment that he's looking for, it would turn into resentment, and his children and his wife would have been the recipients of the bulk of that. So I'm glad that actually didn't work out. Not for his sake, but for theirs.
us had our laptops out and we wrote about, okay, for the next few months, what kind of life do we want to live?
Hamza went on to explain that him and his ex-girlfriend wanted to go on separate paths in life that weren't compatible.
But she saw it, and I'm not gonna lie, like I could see how like offended she was, where she was quite like pressuring. She was like, wait, you want to do this? Oh, you want to do that? You want to stay up late, but that's unhealthy. And I understood, you know, it is fair enough. What I'm saying is like, oh,
and it might be like, okay, I'm getting the sense that Don really don't like this guy, right? Why don't I like Hamza? It's nothing personal, but you have to understand, he's giving people bad advice first and foremost. He's giving people bad advice, but secondly, a lot of this red pill self-help culture is tied to a lot of bigotry that causes harm to other people. So not only is his advice useless, right? Yeah, you might get in better shape. That's good. Sure, you might pick up chicks better than you could have in the past. Still not elite. You're still not elite. You won't be elite until you understand true metaphysics and spirituality. At that point, you can have whatever you want in this life. There is nothing that is outside of your reach, outside of your grasp. But yeah, so sure, you might see some kind of tangible improvements adopting this David Goggins self-help discipline, and discipline is a good thing, but you know, this just kind of punishing yourself attitude on top of the red pill bullshit. Whatever results you get, they're not going to lead to a sense of internal fulfillment. And then on top of that, you're going to be taking on all these bigoted ideas about women, about dudes who aren't falling into the way you are. Oh, if you not this like super masculine kind of guy, that means something wrong with bro. Nah, that's just how bro is. You know what I mean? Look at fucking Prince, bro. Look at Jared Leto. Look at that nigga Timothy Chalamet or whatever the fuck he name. Like, look at all of these K-pop stars. All of these dudes, they got bitches galore, bro. They got hoes galore. And they are not at all these hyper masculine people. So I'm trying to tell you, bro, nothing external will give you the thing. There are no rules to this shit besides the rules that you place upon yourself. Look at Playboy Cardi, bro. Look at how many dudes worship this man and how many chicks want to be with him. And he is nothing like what Hamza is telling you got to be like to be successful, to pull women, to be rich. You think Playboy Cardi is taking ice baths? You think he's waking up at 5 a.m. going for runs? You think he's hitting the heavy bag? He not doing none of that shit. Look at Lil Uzi Vert. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to open your eyes, guys. I'm not saying that any of the things in of themselves, like running, fighting, lifting weights, being more traditionally masculine in the way you carry yourself, I'm not saying that those things are bad. They're not. None of these things are bad in of themselves, but they're also not necessary.
Yeah, like I kind of want to be a little bit more sleep deprived. And she just couldn't really see that this was like me just being authentic, that this was the life I wanted to live. So there was quite a lot of like judgment from her. And when I saw that judgment, I thought, yeah, like maybe we're not actually compatible for the next season.
As you'd expect, Hamza's audience wasn't very pleased with his indecisive attitude and constantly changing opinions. With comments reading, "What I learned from this video is that I wouldn't take advice from Hamza on maintaining long-term relationships," as well as, "You promised her the world, but you couldn't even keep your word. You were the problem here, mate." This guy changes his opinions every month, making bold claims to his audience and immediately going back on his word or changing his opinion was becoming a very common occurrence in Hamza's videos. In the past, Hamza claimed men should focus on finding a quote.
The goalpost will continue to move as long as the goalpost is outside of yourself. That's how it goes.
High-quality woman and settled down. But now that he was faced with the same reality, he backed out, and his other opinions on men dedicating themselves to improving their minds and body gave way to telling men to make as much money as possible by paying for his monthly membership. Speaking of which, by early 2024, one of Hamza's former students would come out with less than positive opinions about their time in his paid community. On the 5th of January, a user by the name of Dante would upload a video detailing the more darker aspects to Hamza's Adonis school.
One morning, Hamza posted something that would cause mass panic among the members. He said by the end of the day, he would be kicking over 100 low-contributing members. Now keep in mind, some of these people paid $500 to join and were being threatened by the banhammer. Although it seems Hamza was gauging the price people were willing to pay and then kicking those who got in at a lower price.
To add insult to injury, Hamza would end up kicking everyone out of the community anyway.
As just 2 weeks later, he disbanded the school as a whole, wasting all of our time and money, just to reopen it and charge a $500 one-time entry fee.
Dante went on to elaborate on his time in Hamza Academy in an interview with a creator named Regan Nice.
So I can't comment too much on it because I'm not a member of his paid community, I just want to put that out there. But I've had, at this point, about 30 people reach out to me who were ex-members, and they said a lot of the stuff along the lines of they joined and they found that the information that was on the group was stuff that they could easily find online for free. Would you say that is accurate?
Those people are absolutely correct. What's in the actual community is the same thing you get from his videos. You can, look on his channel, and all of the information in the community is just, I guess you could say, maybe a little better within the packaging. It's nice courses with PDFs and trackers and all these other things, but it's basically what's in his videos repackaged, but it's all the same information at the end of the day.
To show just how manipulative Hamza was when confronted with his own failing, Dante shared a comment he left under one of his videos.
He had something where he told his viewers to copy paste this and screenshot this because he's going to delete it. So, I think that's pretty manipulative. He since edited the comment, but this is, and I quote, "This is really sad, Dante. You were a great student. I helped you one-on-one with your mom's passing. I agreed to go on a call with your father. You seem to fit in and love Adonis School so much. He made multiple testimonial videos saying it was great." That's exactly what he said.
Not only was Hamza willing to deflect criticism by weaponizing such an intimate detail of someone's life, but he also saw no issue with sending his viewers after him.
So you got a 27-year-old man framing a 15-year-old kid as the bad guy, and then sending hundreds of thousands, possibly, of his audience to go and talk crap on your name. Something about that just doesn't sit right with me,
And something that's even more sad is that his audience believes it.
On the 4th of August 2024, Hamza would respond to the situation by providing his side of the story. In a video titled Hamza Responds to the Scammer video, he'd reveal evidence which displayed that Dante made the video out of bad faith in order to slander his name, providing screenshots showing Dante's testimonials and success within his group, as well as going into just how far he went to support Dante, which included sending him his personal necklace, as well as a handwritten letter.
You know what I did? I didn't send him a DM. I did not send him a DM about this video that he posted. I got a piece of paper and a pen and I hand wrote him a letter. I took off my necklace that I was wearing in all the videos, or it was a silver one, and I posted it to the US.
Hamza sent me personal gifts like this necklace and this note.
He says that I never helped him, and he said this multiple times in podcasts that he's went on to try and attack me and my brand. And here's a message from him. "I wanted to express my gratitude for the necklace and the handwritten note you gave me. I haven't taken the necklace off since I got it, and the note genuinely made me..."
Bro, that's so weird. That's kind of weird, dude. You sending this nigga your necklace and shit like that? Very, very cult leader vibes, man.
Tear up. You're a great example of what a leader should be like. Charismatic and selfless. I don't know the word for this, but you do things like writing notes and picking up things for your cult.
You see, they're even acknowledging that this shit is a cult, bro. Weird.
Picture of me with the necklace.
To make matters worse, he also displayed evidence of Dante bragging about the video's performance, which made the entire situation appear as though Dante used and enjoyed Hamza's service and then turned on him when he could gain some clout or make a profit. But despite this, Hamza still received a lot of criticism. Hamza's inability to notice his own faults and biases had slowly eaten away at his reputation, and it would take a very stern interview with Chris Williamson for him to even begin to see that.
The problem you have there is, as soon as you posit an ideal, you can then compare yourself to that ideal. And if this ends up being wrong, if actually the thing that you need to do is become a fighter because fighting men have always been warriors, and then 3 weeks later you're like, I don't know, fighting's not for me. And then it's I'm in my dad era, I can't wait to start relationship's gone. The more hard the stake is that you hit into the ground, the more difficult it's going to be to pull back out.
When Hamza initially started the Adonis movement, he based it on 5 simple values: discipline, humility, presence, gratitude, and leadership. Sadly, Hamza failed to live up to 3 of these values multiple times in his career. Hamza frequently presents his opinions as bold fact that his impressionable audience should emulate, when even he couldn't meet the standards he set.
Right.
However, it seems Hamza wasn't too far gone to notice his mistakes. In one of his recent videos titled "I Fell Off Self-Improvement," Hamza would acknowledge some of his faults and attempt to own up to them.
Because I'd seen it with, Conor McGregor and athletes and everything. They always kind of like discipline themselves in the early days, then they build success, and then they just kind of like lose it all because of random mistakes that they made. And I always used to see that and be like, oh yeah, not me, bro, not me. And then I just find myself in this situation, because when you do reach success, it's like, it's so easy for everyone who hypes you up for it to get to your head.
Hamza would even try to see things from the perspective of his viewers, and took note of how difficult it would be to watch their favorite creator make easily avoidable mistakes.
And I must say, from your perspective, it must have been annoying as fuck and like cringe. They're so fucking cringe to see me make decisions that I didn't even stick to, where I'd randomly flip-flop and change my mind.
Although the video showed Hamza trying to be authentic, the comment section would tell a completely different story. Before Hamza was able to delete it, Regan screenshotted a comment that showed the intentions behind the upload.
As expected, instead of just being a man and owning up to his mistakes, Hamza's ego wouldn't allow that, and he had to play some sort of manipulation game. Unfortunately, he made one lethal mistake, which was forgetting to perception manage in the comments from the get-go. He let his little mask slip off, insulted Dante once again.
Yeah, even these videos that he's doing, they are an attempt to try and change people's perspective of you. He's trying to change what other people think about him. Nigga, as long as you give a fuck about that shit will always control you. In fact, anything you give a fuck about controls you, bro. You feel me? And what you chase escapes. So the more he's trying to get people to like him, the less people like him, bro. You know what I mean? Bro, God does not explain himself. Ain't that crazy? You gonna allow other people, most people believe in God, right? You're going to allow other people to force you to explain your actions when the person they worship, they do not ask him to explain, why did you kill all those babies? Why did you let that little girl get raped by that man? Why? Because you have to admit, if God is everywhere and all powerful, then at any point in time he can intervene whenever he wants. And so anytime he doesn't intervene, he's choosing not to intervene. Unless you believe in a God that never intervenes in human affairs. So if you believe in a God that intervenes in human affairs, then you must acknowledge that anytime that it'll be no different than you standing here and you seeing a little girl get bullied by some twerp, and that kid has free will, the girl has free will, and you don't know either of them. And so in a sense, you're not obligated to intervene, but people look at you like you're a fucking piece of shit if you didn't go and help that little girl, right? Well, the same should be applied to God, but we don't. Why? Because he's all powerful, and the powerful are never questioned. And so be more like God, bro. Stop worrying about what other people think about you and all of that. And then you will start to actually have real power internally.
And lied in the comments, and then later deleted the evidence when he figured out his mistake.
Even after his ego-driven actions had tarnished his reputation, chased away a significant portion of the Adonis school members, and caused his viewership to stagnate, Hamza was still being disingenuous with his community. Whether or not this behavior will continue is completely up to Hamza. Will he truly put his ego aside and become an Adonis, or will he hold on to it and remain a Jeff?
Well, this video was posted a year ago. Let's take a look at what Hamza is up to these days. Well, 3 weeks ago, he finally responded to a video that was posted a year ago. So he's still in the same mindset. He still obviously cares quite a bit about what other people think about him. And so, yeah. His views aren't terrible, though. He's still getting pretty decent views, just in general. Nothing compared to what they used to be. If we go to popular, this guy was raking in millions of views a video, hundreds of thousands of views a video. Now he's down to, averaging less than 100K, but still pretty good. If he doesn't have a big team editing his videos and all that, this is still enough to live off of. You know what I mean? For sure. And he's probably made millions of dollars selling courses and all that over the years, so I'm sure he's fine financially. But yeah, man, that's the situation with Hamza. I hope you learned something from this based on everything we spoke about. Go ahead and let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out.